I want to welcome everyone to another episode of Behind the Shades. It's your host, Erin, and we have another fantastic episode for you guys today. It's you, it's our guest, and it's me, Mr. Behind the Shades himself. But before you see today's video, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. So let's get into today's episode. So many things, right? Like you can be in a situation where you lose yourself in your thoughts and your thoughts become reality, but the reality is not real.
Yeah.
You're right. You're living something where you're going through this pain. These things are happening to you, but because you're just in your own world, right? Like, and that's the saying, right? Where you just, it's like you're, to use your word, it's not necessarily oblivious, but that's probably the closest description where you're so unaware of what is going on around you because you're so lost or you're just living in your own head. And I absolutely do agree. I remember one of my friends, she was going through, she was in an abusive relationship. And up until someone else was going through it, she couldn't see the abuse because in her mind, it was something else. But in reality, it was something totally different. And I think that's the part that's scary because I think that's how some of us rationalize it by saying that, you know what, this abuse isn't that bad because in my mind, I'm happy. In my mind, I'm living the best life. I have a roof over my head. I have a warm body next to me. I was talking to a relationship coach, and she was telling me so many people stay in those situations or they live in their minds because it's simple, it's safer.
It's the known, right? I mean, most times when people are in abusive relationships, it's because they know that they had that experience before, or they had something similar. It may not have been verbal, or it may not have been physical, or sexual, or whatever it was. But the all the nuances to abuse are similar, right? So it's possessiveness and isolating people and those sorts of things exist in all those types of abuse, and so they typically have had that experience before, and so it becomes, yeah, that is the norm. But I always like to say, it's like we're inside of the jar and we want to read the ingredients, but they're on the outside of the jar, so we can't see them. It's so close right there,
Right
but we
there.
can't quite see, right? Because we're so close to ourselves, we can't really see what's going on. And that's why I do what I do, is because it's so interesting, because I have people contact me and they're not quite sure why they've contacted me. And they want help, but they're still unsure what's going on in their lives. And in a matter of a couple of exercises, I go, wow, well, this is what's happening in your life. And that's something that you want to work on, because you can release that and heal from it and move on and experience this life very differently.
Do you find it difficult to get them on that path to where they can do the exercises and actually realize what is going on? And I'll tell you why I asked that. Because you mentioned something interesting when you were, in your apartment by yourself. It's more comfortable. It's safer to be that way versus confronting the issue at hand, right? So when you had to confront it for yourself and you're helping these people confront it, how do you get them to reach that point where they can ultimately be where you are today?
Um, it's so interesting. I mean, part of what I love about what I do is that everybody comes in a different, with different experiences, right? And then also kind of, levels is not the right word, but like with in different places in their life. And so, navigating that and different personalities and egos and all of that is kind of what's fun for me in terms of like, understanding humans, and just we're so nuanced and wonderful and different and complex, and that's what's interesting for me.